When I was 17, my family moved to a quiet suburban neighborhood in Illinois. Streets were lined with trees, lawns were neat, and everyone waved to each other. It felt safe. Too safe. Maybe across the street was a small, slightly run-down blue house. I noticed the man for the first time one afternoon while walking home. He stood at the upstairs window, staring directly at our house, motionless. His brown sweater was damp from the autumn drizzle, his hair greasy and his eyes empty. At first, I laughed it off. Maybe he was just bored, lonely, or retired. But over the next week, it became clear this wasn't a one-time thing. Every time I left for school or came home, he was in the same spot. Sometimes he didn't even blink. Just watched one rainy evening. Mom was working late. I was home alone, doing homework. During a flash of lightning, I glanced at the window. He was there, smiling. A slow, crooked smile that made my stomach twist. I shut the curtains, telling myself it was just my imagination. Minutes later, came 3 slow knocks on the front door. My heart raced. I peeked through the side curtain. No one. Only muddy, bare footprints leading away from the porch. I called Mom, who came home immediately. We checked the house, but the man was gone. The police said the house across the street was vacant. Nobody had lived there for months. I tried to forget it, but nights were the worst. I'd wake up to tapping at my window, shadows flickering in the yard, or just a feeling of being watched. One night, I grabbed a flashlight and looked out. Across the street, in the upstairs window of the empty blue house, a figure stood staring at me. Weeks passed. The police investigated, but never found anyone. No forced entry. No sign of life in the house. Just the footprints, the tapping, the watching. Even now, I drive past that street sometimes, and though the house looks abandoned, I can't shake the feeling that someone or something is still inside, watching, waiting. Some houses are empty, but some windows are never truly vacant. When I was 19, my parents had retired and moved to a remote part of North Idaho. Their new house was massive. 2 stories, gym, movie theater, pool table, deep in the woods with no neighbors in sight. Peaceful, secluded, the dream. One night, my high school girlfriend came over while my parents were out. We cracked a beer, watched Gladiator in the movie room, and everything seemed normal. But halfway through the movie, I felt it, a fight or flight sensation, like my body sensed something my mind couldn't see. I kept glancing at the large windows facing the forest. Shadows seemed wrong. Movements where there shouldn't have been. I tried to ignore it, not wanting to scare her. After the movie, I walked her to her car. The house was dead quiet. Then I noticed the lights still on in the movie room, bar, and pool room. I went back to turn them off, and that's when I saw him. A man, standing outside in the pitch-black woods. Wild hair, filthy clothes, a crazed smile, and in his hand, a knife. He wasn't moving, just watching. I froze. My heart pounded. I ran upstairs to my parents' room and called them. They were home nearby, and after I explained, my dad grabbed his rifle and checked the property. No one was found, but they told me there had been recent break-ins in the area by a man wandering the woods, trying to get into homes that night. I heard tapping beneath me. My bedroom was directly above the movie room. Tapping on the glass. Metal? No, softer. Deliberate. For hours, I couldn't sleep. Weeks went by. The tapping continued on and off. Footsteps on the roof. Shadows outside the windows. My parents armed me with a shotgun when they went out of town, and our Rottweiler, normally calm, barked fiercely at the smallest movement. One night, I heard deliberate crunching in the snow outside, then a slow, hollow knock at the door. I didn't move. The dog growled and barked, and I stayed silent, shotgun in hand. Morning came, and fresh footprints circled the house. Every window, every door. I followed the tracks into the forest, half a mile before they began looping, as if to confuse anyone following. I returned, uneasy, and that night the tapping came back, louder. Closer, I finally confronted him. Standing on the second-story deck, shotgun raised, lights illuminating him through the fog. Same man, same deranged smile, knife in hand. He didn't flinch. I fired a warning shot. He staggered, then slowly backed into the woods, still staring. I unleashed the dog, who bolted into the forest like a black missile. That was the last I saw him. After that night, the tapping stopped, and the feeling of being watched gradually faded. Even now, I remember his face, the wild hair, the smiling eyes, the knife. He was out there, somewhere, waiting, watching, hidden in the darkness of the forest, in the woods, even in the quietest places. Someone is always watching, and sometimes they're closer than you think. During spring break 2022, my friends and I decided to rent a cabin in South Carolina. 6 of us: Matt, Chris, Tyler, Jess, Sarah, and me. We wanted a quiet getaway, away from school, stress, and phones. The cabin was supposed to be remote and private, nestled in the woods near a lake. But when we arrived, it didn't match the pictures. Windows dusty, shutters hanging, faint smell of damp wood and old garbage. The trees around the cabin were thick, black, and silent. No bugs, no wind. Just a heavy, oppressive quiet. We laughed it off, set up, drank, played music, and settled in. That first night, around 4:15 a.m., I woke up suddenly. Something felt off. My bedroom was on the ground floor next to the kitchen, window facing the woods. There was tapping, tap, 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 slow, deliberate, like fingers against glass. I looked up and froze. A man stood pressed against the window, face almost touching the glass. Pale, wild hair, no shirt, wide, unblinking eyes, mouth slightly open. He didn't move. I whispered Matt's name. Groggy, he looked over. His eyes widened, and when he saw the man, he bolted upright, knocking over the coffee table. That startled the intruder, who vanished into the darkness. We got up and checked outside. Bare footprints circled the cabin, every window, even the one above the upstairs shower. We tried to convince ourselves it was a lost local or hunter, but nothing felt right. He had been inside, somehow, without forcing doors or windows. Night 2, we were more careful. Doors locked, windows checked, furniture moved to block entrances. Around 3:30 a.m., Matt went for water. He froze and called me. There he was, standing in the kitchen, naked, back covered in raw scratches, swaying slowly, staring blankly. We grabbed anything we could, a pocket knife, a fire poker, chair legs, turned on the lights. He was gone. The back door wide open, not broken, just open. We didn't wait. Packed essentials, left immediately, driving through the woods until we got cell signal. When we met a deputy off the highway, he wasn't surprised. Said there had been reports of squatters in those woods, not always stable, not always visible. We tried to explain it wasn't just a random person. This man watched, returned, and had somehow entered the cabin. But he just nodded. The cabin owner's listing disappeared a few days later. We never got our deposit back. Even now, when I think of that face, wild, pale, smiling with those dead, unblinking eyes, I can feel it staring at me. The memory of being watched is something you never forget. Some places feel private, but when someone wants in, someone is always watching, waiting for the right moment. If you found this story shocking, disturbing, or eye-opening, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable true stories.